Why is this defect here? My mom hissed, not recognizing me at my sister's wedding. 9 years earlier, she disowned me for refusing to be their perfect little doctor. What she didn't know? The defect she shamed just saved her hospital, and now owns the tech keeping it alive. If you've ever dreamed of rising above the people who broke you, this story is for you. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and tell us in the comments, what's your definition of revenge? Let's dive into the story of how Alexandra turned humiliation into power. My name is Alexandra, and this isn't a story of anger. It's a story of clarity, of a girl raised like an ornament, then discarded like trash, and the quiet, burning transformation that followed. I was the second daughter in a family that worshipped image and reputation. My parents were legacy doctors. My father ran a private hospital that catered to the city's elite, and my mother was a high-profile neurosurgeon. My older sister, Camille, was the shining star, graceful, obedient, med school bound. I was not. Where Camille excelled in biology and public speaking, I drowned in coding and books about machine learning. I didn't want to wear a white coat. I wanted to design the systems that made medicine better. But to them, that wasn't ambition, it was rebellion. The breaking point came on the day of my high school graduation. I remember it vividly. I wore a cheap navy blue dress I'd sewn myself, because every extra dollar was being hoarded for Camille's med school. I stood outside the ceremony, surrounded by proud parents hugging their kids. My father approached me, face blank. He didn't congratulate me. Instead, he handed me a thick envelope. Inside was an admission letter, not mine. It was Camille's med school packet. "You're going to the Caribbean school next semester," he said flatly. "I didn't apply to med school," I replied. That was the spark. My mother stepped in then, eyes hard. "You'll go. We've arranged everything. It's the only thing that will fix your reputation after that ugly coding nonsense." I felt my ears ring. "I didn't ask for this. I'm not going." That silence, it was unforgettable. My father looked away. My mother didn't flinch. Her voice was surgical. "Then you're no longer our daughter." They turned and walked away just like that, like removing a bandage. No yelling, no tears, just deletion. I moved out the next day with $43 in my account and a duffel bag. No calls, no birthday texts, no crumbs of concern. It wasn't just disowning, it was total erasure. For the next 2 years, I couch-surfed through college while building a health tech startup with a friend. We coded in libraries, slept in cafes, and pitched to investors in wrinkled shirts. Most laughed us off. "You're just kids. And women? In health tech?" They'd scoff. But what we built was different. An AI-based triage assistant for under-resourced hospitals. It started gaining traction in rural clinics, then overseas. By year 5, we were in talks with 3 major healthcare providers. By year 6, we merged with a diagnostics software firm. I became CTO at 27. The same girl they disowned was now leading the very wave of transformation the medical world was bracing for. But fate's wicked sense of humor wasn't done yet. One morning, I got a call from our client onboarding team. They were finalizing a new license deal with a struggling private hospital that needed our system fast. The name? St. Vincent Medical. My father's hospital. I paused, everything in me clenched. "They've been hemorrhaging money," my manager said. "This AI system might keep them afloat." I approved the deal without a word. That's when I found out my sister Camille was getting married. And that the wedding? It was at a country estate just an hour away. I wasn't invited. Of course not, I didn't exist. But the tech we had deployed had already saved their ER over $300K in operating costs. Their lives were running on the software I wrote while sleeping on beanbags. So I decided I'd attend anyway. Not with vengeance, but with presence. I arrived alone, clean suit, no flash, no drama, just stillness. The estate was buzzing with floral arrangements and expensive perfume. I stayed on the periphery, sipping sparkling water near the bar, watching them all. Camille looked radiant, exactly the kind of daughter they always wanted. My father stood by her side, beaming. My mother, flawless as ever, scanned the room like a queen overseeing her court. She locked eyes with me, a pause. Then, her lips curled, not in recognition but revulsion. She turned to my father and whispered, Why is this defect here? The words felt like déjà vu, a dagger from the past. I calmly walked over. Defect? You mean the woman whose system now runs 70% of your hospital's operations? Their faces drained. My father blinked, then looked at me, truly saw me, for the first time in 9 years. His jaw clenched. My mother stepped back. Alexandra? Yes, I replied, but I prefer just Alex now. The same Alex your board signed a 3-year deal with last month. I think your COO called it a miracle contract. They stammered. Camille's groom looked from them to me, confused. I leaned in slightly. The defect you erased just saved your hospital, and I didn't even know it was yours. Then I smiled. Don't worry, you're not the only ones who didn't recognize me. The rest of the evening, I stayed, and not because I wanted to rub it in. I stayed because I was no longer a ghost in their story. I was my own person in mine. They couldn't look at me. Not directly. Not without choking on years of judgment. But I didn't feel hate. I felt clean. My revenge wasn't in humiliating them. It was in knowing that even their survival depended on the person they once called a mistake. They disowned a daughter, and got a savior in return. That's irony. That's justice. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's elevation. When they cast you out, don't chase validation. Build, grow. Let the silence they left behind echo with your success. If that story made your spine tingle just a bit, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories where karma doesn't just knock, it kicks the door in. Have you ever had a moment where you proved someone wrong just by being yourself? Drop your story in the comments, we read every one. And remember, silence is a powerful answer.